This just happened, and few people realize the impact. A traditional NBA franchise just made a surprising decision, and names that seemed guaranteed to make the roster were simply released. There's a draft lottery player involved. There's a college prospect with the blood of a league legend, and I managed to get behind the scenes of all this, with details that haven't yet reached the major portals. So, like and subscribe to the channel, because what I'm about to tell you will blow your mind. Len arrived at the Knicks as a low-cost pick after a whirlwind stint with the Lakers last season. In Los Angeles, he played in 10 games, averaging 2.2 points and 3.1 rebounds before being released at the end of the regular season. Still, his physical presence, experience, and ability to protect the rim piqued the interest of some franchises, and the Knicks seemed like the ideal place for a comeback. But things didn't go as planned. During the preseason, the center had only 2 games to convince the coaching staff, and in 9 minutes per game, he averaged modest 3.5 points and 1.5 rebounds. Coach Tom Thibodeau, known for prioritizing intensity and aggressive defense, opted for a different approach, making it clear he was looking for a more versatile and athletic player to fill the paint. Len's release wasn't isolated. The Knicks also announced the departures of Garrison Matthews and Matt Ryan, another former Laker known for his long-range shooting. Ryan, who had a standout moment in Los Angeles in 2023, ended up losing ground after the recent additions to the New York roster, which is now relying heavily on forwards with greater defensive ability. Len's release, however, had a greater impact precisely because of his connection to the Lakers. Some fans believe the Los Angeles team could have given the center more time, especially considering the lack of depth in the paint when Anthony Davis needs rest. The current rotation still shows weaknesses in rebounding and rim protection, and Len's presence reignites the debate over whether the Lakers should have kept a more traditional backup center. Len, despite the criticism, still possesses attributes valued in the league. He's experienced, stands 7'1", has good defensive positioning, and acts as an effective blocker in the pick and roll. Therefore, some analysts believe he could attract interest from teams like the Hornets, Blazers, or even the Wizards themselves, teams seeking specific reinforcements in the interior. The market for veteran centers is heated, and with injuries cropping up on several rosters during the preseason, Len's name is likely to continue to be circulated in the coming weeks. Still, this movement raises red flags for several players trying to secure a spot in the NBA. The adjustment window before the start of the season is merciless, and even experienced players with experience at major franchises can be cut overnight. But the most interesting thing is that while New York was cleaning up, Los Angeles was also undergoing significant transformations. Within the Lakers, the mood is one of utmost seriousness. Coach J.J. Redick, in his first full season at the helm, and the front office led by Rob Pelinka, decided to tighten the reins to adjust the roster to 15 contracts. And in this movement, some well-known and even promising names ended up being left out. With LeBron James sidelined due to a sciatica crisis, the roster needed to be lean, competitive, and ready to perform under pressure. The goal is clear: to start the season at full strength alongside Luka Doncic, who will finally experience his first full season in purple and gold. And it is precisely in this context that the second part of this story begins. Unexpected cuts, young talents with legendary surnames, and a direct message from the front office. No one has a guaranteed seat on the 2025 Lakers roster. While the Knicks were stirring up the transfer market with the release of Alex Len, Los Angeles was also experiencing a climate of cuts and difficult decisions. The Lakers began a surgical roster overhaul ahead of the 2025-26 season opener, and the changes surprised even the most attentive fans. Among the names released, 2 immediately caught attention: R.J. Davis, a former University of North Carolina (UNC) standout, and Augustas Marciulionis, son of a true European basketball legend and Hall of Famer Sharunas Marciulionis. The official announcement came via the Lakers' social media on a busy Saturday afternoon. The Los Angeles Lakers have released R.J. Davis, Augustas Marciulionis, Anton Watson, and Nate Williams. The decision was part of the franchise's mandatory adjustment, which required the team to reduce the roster to 15 standard contracts. But behind the coldness of the statement, there's a much more revealing context about the philosophy that coach J.J. Redick and general manager Rob Pelinka are implementing in 2025. Redick made it clear from the start of the preseason that he wanted a smart, fast, and high IQ roster capable of adapting to the modern style of play he's been trying to establish alongside Luka Doncic. And that's precisely where the releases come in. The most talked about cut was that of R.J. Davis, a talented 23-year-old point guard who shone for 5 seasons at North Carolina. Davis was one of the most respected names in college basketball, a player with scoring instincts, a strong personality, and a great read of the offense. Averaging 15.6 points and 3.8 assists throughout his NCAA career, and shooting 36.7% from three, many expected him to get a real shot at a regular spot on the roster. But the preseason wasn't enough to convince Redick. The coach, who has emphasized perimeter defense and constant ball movement, opted to prioritize more physically ready players with NBA experience. Even so, within the coaching staff, there were those who believed Davis could be polished, perhaps a potential new Austin Reeves. Now, the expectation is that he will be integrated into the G League roster, where he can continue developing and, who knows, return to the main team in the future. The release of Augustas Marčiulionis, however, stirred up the European public. Son of the legendary Šarūnas Marčiulionis, a Golden State Warriors legend and one of the first Lithuanians to find success in the NBA, Augustas arrived at the Lakers surrounded by curiosity. Standing 6 feet 4 inches with excellent ball control, the 23-year-old stood out during his time at St. Mary's College of California, where he demonstrated vision and defensive efficiency. However, in training in Los Angeles, his performance fell short of expectations. There was a lack of offensive aggression and shooting consistency, key elements in Redick's system. Besides Davis and Marčiulionis, Anton Watson and Nate Williams also appeared on the cut list. Both had limited appearances in training camp, and the Lakers opted to make room for potential reinforcements before the start of the season. These releases make the message clear. The Lakers are adjusting every piece with a full focus on the short term. The temporary absence of LeBron James, still recovering from a bout of sciatica, places a huge responsibility on Luka Doncic, who will be playing his first full season in the purple and gold. And for the Slovenian to shine, the roster needs to be fully tuned, with players capable of adapting to the pace and game reading he imposes. Redick and Pelinka know the margin for error is minimal. The West is more competitive than ever. The Nuggets, Mavericks, and Thunder are coming in strong, and the Lakers can't afford to experiment with players who are still developing. The priority is winning now. Even so, the decisions raise a question among fans. Are the Lakers giving up young talent who could be productive in the future? It's a classic dilemma in Los Angeles, the balance between the present and the future. The franchise wants to compete for a title, but it also needs to consider renewal, especially with LeBron getting closer and closer to the end of his career. With the cuts finalized, the focus now shifts completely to the market. There are rumors that the Lakers may seek an experienced backup center to bolster the paint, especially after the defensive struggles seen in the scrimmages. Some insiders point out that Rob Pelinka is discreetly monitoring the free agent market, and names like Alex Len, the very center released by the Knicks, could, ironically, return to the team's radar. The next few weeks promise to be intense. The roster isn't 100% finalized yet, and the Lakers are expected to make at least one addition before the season officially starts. And the big question now is, will the Lakers rely on a familiar face again, or will they look for, is there an unexpected reinforcement to surprise the West? The answer could set the tone for JJ Redick and Luka Doncic in Los Angeles. Like, subscribe to the channel and stay tuned, because the next update could change everything.